Hey everybody, it's Angelique, also known as The Light. Welcome to my channel. Please stop what you're doing, click like, share, subscribe, stay a while. Multiple topics on spirituality, chosen one journey, spiritual journey, and anything that I want to put. So this topic is going to be pretty brief in this video. I didn't want to put it on TikTok. I didn't want to make anybody feel no kind of way, but I thought it was a very interesting topic. One of my mutuals on TikTok, her account is, she talked about like her bipolar diagnosis, pretty much, and how her life is being bipolar. You know, her manic episodes, her medication, her mood swings, things like that. And I find it very interesting. But she posted something yesterday that had me thinking. And she was talking about, I'm not going to tell you what her TikTok name is, I want to keep her name private, but she was talking about how she doesn't tell people when she's in a dating setting that she's bipolar. And I'm like, what do you mean you don't tell them? And she was like, well, I don't know how they're going to react, so I just don't tell them I'm bipolar. And I think I don't think that's right. And if anybody on my channel, anybody who's watching this video, I do want you to share your feelings and your experiences in the comment section, but I feel that's being deceitful. So for me, I don't have any mental disorders, but I used to deal with heavy depression all in my 20s, to the point where like I didn't want to shower, I didn't want to go outside sometimes, I didn't want to hang out with friends. The only person who knew the secret of my heavy depression was my mother. My mother tried to put me on medication. The medication did not work. The only thing that worked was for me to get up and move out of New York, and that changed my life. I moved to Florida when I was around 22 years old. That's what saved my life. I was in a narcissistic relationship, romantic relationship. My mother had cancer. She was dying. I was depressed and I didn't want to live. And some people call it situational depression, whatever you call it. I just knew that I didn't want to live. So that's the only time I really suffered with severe mental illness. But I also have something called PCOS. Means that I have cyst on my ovaries. So when I'm dating someone, I tell the men, like, listen, I've told men in the past that I've dated, listen, I have cyst on my ovaries. This means that if I want to get pregnant, I might have to plan my pregnancy. If I have heavy bleeding during my cycle, this is why. So I feel like when you have certain things about your health, mental or physical health, I think we have an obligation to tell people that we want to be romantically involved in. Who's to say that a man wants to be with a woman that they're going to have to plan a pregnancy? Maybe he just wants a woman who's fertile. And I don't want to take choice away from men. Yes, I can have children still, but my children, due to my situation, have to be planned, So for me, something like bipolar and schizophrenia and all these different mental disorders, I don't think that is fair for people who have, these disorders, to keep it from people they potentially want to date, especially if you want marriage and children. A lot of disorders can be passed down through the bloodline, and if you look at it from a spiritual point, sometimes spiritually, I believe that a lot of different mental illnesses is a spirit that could be passed down to your child. And I just think that people should not take away choice from me or from anyone else. That I had that happen to me twice. I was dating a guy and he turned out to be one of my best boyfriends. I will never, say that he wasn't. He was a Taurus. We met at Macy's. We were working at Macy's years ago. This is like 2008. I met him, and we met at Macy's, and then we started dating. And just a couple of months into the relationship, I was like, what is going on with him? I noticed whenever he was in a bad mood, he would have his glasses on. Whenever he was in a good mood, he would have contacts on. He was just like, he just had these different mood swings, and I just noticed like his behavior was just odd to me. And that's when I found out that he was bipolar and he was on medication. He even had disability. it was to that point. He had a disability check. He was allowed to work part-time, but he had a disability check, so it was just interesting. I still chose to date him, but whenever he was in a manic episode, basically, not feeling himself, he would let me know, babe, I'm not myself today, I don't want to see you. And I'm like, okay, cool. But then I met another guy, and his bipolar was like more sad and angry, and just like he didn't let nobody in. He didn't let me in at all. Like, he was just very nasty and mean to me. And the more I loved him, the more he pushed me away, and we lasted only 6 months, but I think that's severe. And maybe somebody doesn't want to date someone who's bipolar or schizophrenic. And that even happened to a relative of mine. Their wife left with their 2 children, and they never saw their kids again. They moved to another country because she did not know that he was mentally ill. He was schizophrenic. And she saw he attacked her, and she felt her children were in danger, and she was in danger, and she left. And it's sad because he has not seen his children in like 30 years. So people deserve the right to know. So if you're a person who suffers with mental illness or any kind of disorder, body disorder, internal, some type of deformity, something going on with your health that can impact your lover's life, they deserve to know. Whether it's mental illness, a terminal illness, they deserve to know. And, I understand that people may treat you differently, but it's deceitful to have people start to like you or love you and then be like, hi, I'm bipolar, I'm schizophrenic. No, that's not right. That's foul, and I even have a friend who has severe mental illness. She will not tell me her disorder, but, a couple of years ago, when we were in our 20s, I called her phone one day, and her sister said, my sister's in a psych ward. And I'm like, what? And she was like, please don't tell me you're going to leave her too. And I was just like, no, I still want to be her friend. And it has not been easy through the years. Seeing her manicky, seeing her get really, really skinny and then gaining a lot of weight back, seeing her look zone out is not easy. And the older she get, because she doesn't take any medication, she refuses to get help and get therapy, the worse her mind is becoming as we're aging. She's 37 years old now. It's sad. It's really sad. It's not easy being in a romantic relationship with somebody who has mental health issues, or a friend, but people deserve to know, because that may not be something that person could handle, and for me, before I have children with someone, or, before I get married, I want to do a panel. I want the man, before I get married and have children with him, I want testing done on both of us. Diseases and genetics and all of that. I'm not playing. I actually just saw a horrible murder story of a woman who didn't know that her husband was schizophrenic, and one night he ended up killing her and their 2 children. So, and she had no idea that he had schizophrenia. People deserve to know. So let me know in the comments what you think. If you need a phone session with me, that info will be in the comment section. And feel free to donate as well. And if you want to keep my channel running. All right, guys. Stay healthy mentally, physically, spiritually. Talk to you soon.